So, all right, I am recording. Things are good there. Gonna double check the other scene. Other scene looks great. Yeah, there's two scenes. There is you and I on just the background, and then me showing off our Pride Slimes product,
Okay,
which I
cool.
also need to record an ad for that at some point. I should probably do that today.
Which scene are you recording right now?
Right now, I'm recording on just the two of us. Our cameras are full size. That's all we got.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do an audio visual sync just in case you have to use my backup.
Perfect. All right. Oh, fuck my shoulders. I'm old. I don't like being old. All right.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah, but at least this year I'm the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
I thought that was nobody.
No. Nobody's not that old yet. It is a number.
Hold on. I bet it's somewhere in this book. Hold on, let me.
It definitely is in that book. All right. Hello and welcome to another All on the Table Secrets of Small Gods special episode. This is special episode number 6 because we had 4.5, and 4.75 due to the errors with broadcasting that occurred that day. And those are done. And by the time you see this, you will definitely want to head back and check out the awesome episode we did with Matt for Tyball and the really cool library question maze that happened there. And today it's just me, Jen Giggles, your illustrious game master on this Pathfinder 2 adventure that we're taking. And joining me is Tensei, who is playing.
I am playing, correct. Yes. Ooh, hold on. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, hi. I am Tensei. I am playing once again Ishi Mao, everybody's favorite unnecessarily jacked kitsune.
Like, unnecessarily jacked is a that depends. Do you read my friend Emily Shore's books or not? And don't go any further than that. She is an author. You can find her on Kindle Vella. And no, this would suddenly go from a PG-13 rating to what used to be the X rating, not triple X, but X rating, just to discuss those books. So we're not going to discuss them more.
Jen, I know you can't read them back there. But I want to tell you that half of all of those books are either Power Rangers or Homestuck. if that gives you sort of my vibe.
Well, I mean, I have comics. I read a lot of comics lately because I'm been struggling with longer form books. Stejen, like Fine Print is in my collection, parts 1 and 2. I have Sunspot, so that's where we're at. But yeah, so you guys have gotten out of the desert. You're in town. You guys have been doing some stuff to prepare for your trip back to Absalom. And here is as you're walking around town that day, you've had a couple days, you spent some time making some money, working a bit. You come across a really familiar feeling area, but it looks nothing like where you grew up, but it feels like home. Make a perception check.
Oh, we're gonna start off strong, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Well, 27.
That's a great roll. So you have right now just an excellent an excellent notice of the fact that all of these people in this area aren't the mixture of humans and orcs that they appear to be. They are all kitsune, but they're not your people, but they are your people.
I think as as soon as Ishi steps into this area and sort of notices, his pace slows a lot. Um Almost, it's weird to say that like his gait is the same, but every step is more uh, purposeful as he looks around and sort of takes everything in, trying to make sense of it, because this isn't where he was.
No, it's definitely not where you were. It is something new. Um, you see a few stalls off an old woman sitting out in front of one on a stool, and it's not, it's not a I'm behind the stall location. She's sitting in front of it, and she has a huge selection of beautiful, like, silk and light breathing cottons for sale, in a gorgeous array of colors, and she waves you over. Come, young man. Yes, come. Something for the partner at home?
Uh, um, no, but is this a sort of stand where he would be able to like reach out and feel something, or is it all like behind a?
Oh no, you can touch and see all of it. It's like very interactive. It's kind of like you've been to Ren Fair booths where they go inward and the person is out towards the front of it. It's kind of
Okay.
like that. You can walk in and see all of the stuff that's for sale and fully interactive, see what you're getting as, the seller's waiting at the basically the entrance.
I Ishi is gonna step in because this journey was somewhat unprepared. He was fully expecting to come here, drop some people off, and then go back to a port closer to home.
Mhm.
And so, while this isn't really a clothing store per se, he's probably in need of something fresh.
Ah, yes, yes. So what are you looking for specifically in there? Anything?
I think he's just sort of running his hands over some of the fabrics, trying to find something that is
Ah,
comfortable.
ah,
Um,
that one is lovely. A lovely set of girls were here buying some of that for their hijabs earlier. They're very light and airy. They do let them breathe because the hijab, it can be hot, I hear, from those in that faith. Or maybe a shirt out of this for yourself. It is light and airy. It breathes like Egyptian cotton. So I forget what the name of the kingdom is off the top of my head for Pathfinder. It's this old kingdom. This is part of the Golden Road area where which would have been equivalent of Egypt in the real, and it is the local cotton. It is beautiful, easy, breeze in the desert very nicely, but keeps you warm at night. Keeps you warm at night and keeps you warm on the seashore too.
I could definitely use, and he sort of like tugs at like the ends of his jerkin. It's heavy. It's like a treated leather because it was made for him being on the ocean all of the time. And so it's heavy. It definitely doesn't breathe.
Yeah.
And as we are going into hotter lands, it's like, yeah, yeah, that would be nice.
Ah,
Um,
yes. So come, let me measure, huh? She pulls out a tape
oh, right, yeah.
and she measures you and stuff and says, "Now what colors would you like? Oh, you're one of those Easterners, huh? Yes. Yes. You're a kitsune. She thinks you're
Yeah.
an Easterner. She doesn't know where you're really from. She goes, "Oh, you're one of those Easterners, huh? Yes. Cousins from the East. Cousins from the East." And she pulls down what looks for colors would be something that a like your great grandparents back in Tianxia would have been wearing. Your grandparents would have worn when they came and moved, right? That kind of coloration, brilliant, gorgeous colors, but they aren't from this area. They aren't the brilliance of the desert of the Golden Road. It's the brilliance of your ancestors, but it's still the same material. Like the dye job is amazing on this.
This is fantastic. I mean, I've always been not terribly picky. The like dull brown and blue in everything he's wearing. I could use something more vibrant, I think. This is nice.
Yes, yes. These reds and these golds will work very well together. I know who to talk to. Here. She bundles up the fabric for you, and you guys exchange some money and stuff. It's only a few silver, right? It's not a huge amount.
Yeah.
She goes, you go see my niece down the road. About five. She's past the stalls. There's a building, right, with a that is a tailor store. Yes, yes, tailor store. In there is my niece, and her and her husband make the best clothing. They will take care of you. New breeches, new shirt, even new boots if you bring them leather. Get it done in a day, maybe two.
Uh uh Thank you. Yeah. This has been a lovely surprise.
Oh, thank you. That is wonderful to hear. Yes, off you go. She taps the small of your back the way a grandmother would to shoo you along.
Yeah.
And so you get down there. Do you shop anywhere else? And this place is full of stalls, like anything you want.
Uh no, I feel like this is the mission now. Um Walking around with several bolts of fabric. No, yeah, we're just going to go directly to the tailor.
Okay, okay. You get there. You step in. The bell rings, and a very tiny little kid goes, "Hi, hi, welcome. This is um this is Abdul's wonderful emporium." You can see them reading off a little card. No, that's not right. Sorry, that flips a couple cards. This is this is mom, what's this word again? And out comes this woman, and she's like, "That's your dad's name. That's your dad's name. Do you remember what dad's name is?" "Oh, yes, yes. This is Kareem's tailor shop." "Good job, sweetie. Good job. Okay, head back into the back. Dad has a treat for you." And this little kid runs off. Like they got to be like 5 or 6, learning to read kind of age, and off they go. And how can I help you today?
Ishi can't help but like have a smile that he's trying to sort of hide behind a hand, unsuccessfully. That's a good kid. Yeah, I have some, and he pulls out some of the bolts of fabric from the other store. I was told that you were a tailor.
Yes, yes, we are. Ah, I see the matriarch sent you. It's all right. She's she's wonderful, but a little overbearing at times. Come, come. Have a step up and I will measure you. Make sure we get accurate measurements. Hers are usually a little off. And you go through the process of
Oh,
being measured again. Turns out you got like 5 yards of extra fabric.
that's so much.
It is. Like like you're like, I didn't pay for that much that much fabric either. So she's like, don't worry, you're fine with the fabric. She cuts and measures and rolls it back up and says, "Here, it's yours to keep if you wish to. If not, take it back and sneak it into her stall when she's not looking. Happens all the time." She still measures people as if they're wearing desert robes rather than tunics and breeches. It what can you do, right? Uh, and she goes, "All right, we have it set. Now, which color did you want? Did you want to blend the red and the gold for your for the shirt and pants, or did you want to do just one of each?"
You know what? I've never been terribly good at fashion or any sort of aesthetic. I will trust your judgment.
Sounds good. I will get my husband and I will get to work on this, and we'll see you in 2 days.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. She's written down, Ishi Mao and time frames and as you're leaving, another gentleman walks in and says, "It has been 2 weeks. Where is my clothing?" She goes, "Ah, we just finished it." The man is smaller than you, and the clothing she brings out is elegant but simplistic. It's not full of ruffles and embroidery. So there was something different about him than you.
Hmm. What could it possibly be?
Roll a perception.
Or alternatively, is she lying about the time?
Either you could check
Yeah.
that too if you really want to. Um,
19.
19 on a perception roll.
Yes.
No, she's she's definitely not lying that it'll only take her a couple of days, her and her husband a couple of days to make you new clothes. And that guy who walked in, he doesn't have the feel that you got from the marketplace. He feels like he doesn't belong in that marketplace. And he's just coming there because they're the best tailors for that price.
Okay. I think Ishi just sort of, while walking out and facing away, does a little bit of a scowl at some preconceptions that he's getting right now.
Yeah,
But
that it's possible.
until being until actually seeing some wrongdoing, he's not gonna.
Yeah. So what do you do with the extra fabric?
Um, I think if we go back a little bit,
Uh-huh.
Ishi doesn't want to walk around with like he doesn't. It's taking up space in his pack
Yeah.
for valuable space. Um, and so I think when he's told that he has some extra, he starts saying, "Oh, can we make myself like uh, a bandana? Can we make like a sash, like a waist sash, you know?" other things to just like use it up.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. And so it gets added in, and you know it's all set, and you still got like a yard of fabric left even after getting multiple bandana. You're gonna have like four different bandanas, and you're gonna have two different sashes, and you still got like a yard of fabric left.
Like it's good to have a wardrobe, even
It
if it's all
is.
the same.
It is. You have options and clothing choices. So you still got about a yard left. It's up to you what you want to do with it, but a yard isn't that much of fabric.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing for now. It gets tucked away. Maybe something will happen with it
Okay.
later.
Do you browse the stalls in this marketplace anymore?
Yeah, we're about to leave and go on a bit of a trip, and since Ishi has found himself in a vastly different place, he wants to maybe get um something more exotic, like food wise, that
Okay.
can carry. So he is going to look around at if there are any, yeah, if there's any food vendors around here selling something that could probably be salted for preservation. And
There's actually quite a lot being sold around here that could be salted for preservation. Some of it already is. Some of it's already smoked and dried. Doesn't last quite as long as heavily salted, but when you mix the two together, you've actually find a section where you can tell it's designed for treks because they have larger water skins, and they've got desert shoes. They're selling what they're calling desert shoes, which aren't common. Almost no one uses them, but they're this little thing that spreads out a bit when you step down on them into, on any kind of pressure, and it just kind of flattens a bit more, like you would be walking like a camel's foot on the sand. So it's kind of like a snowshoe, but not
okay, so it's
not as
sort of like
permanently open.
it sort of makes it easier to walk on sort of shifting terrain.
Yeah, yeah, which isn't where you're heading. I mean, you're 2 miles from, you're 2 miles inland at most, right? At this market, the city's huge. It's got a lot of stuff going on with it, but
What's the um biome, I guess? My brain is blanking on what the correct word would be. What's the area that we're going to like?
you're going to be out on the sea, and you're heading into Absalom, which is just um, urban. Think um, northern Italy in weather patterns, in temperatures. Although, quite frankly, it should be southern Italy, Greece, based on the where it is on the map. It's the way it's written. It's kind of like northern Italy, maybe France, even for weather patterns.
Okay. I'm gonna pretend I know what
That's
what
warmer.
European
It's
middle.
it's so um as far as the US would go, that's probably like South Carolina, Georgia. Temperatures, not necessarily humidity, but it is on the shore, so probably humidity.
Okay.
Um so think places like Charleston, that kind of thing. Less San Diego, more Charleston. So California is really dry. It's a lot wetter, like it is over in South Carolina.
Okay. Um there's probably not a lot here for that, but as he moves slowly throughout the market, Ishi is going to keep an eye out for anything that he thinks might be comfortable to any of his allies.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. You do find a few things as you're shopping, but as you're going along, that sense of being at home, but something's off grows the longer you're in there. And as the it's towards it's getting towards evening now, and you've stopped and gotten some food from one of the vendors. Like it's solid, like m- um m- um Islamic food style stuff, like anything you'd get out of Arabian Peninsula or Egypt, easily found. You're having a good time. It's kind of spicy compared to some of the stuff, you'd get on the when you were sailing. So a lot of really, really interesting flavors. Saffron mixed with like a little bit of jasmine and stuff, and you're getting some really unique and amazing foods. And then you notice out of the corner of your eye a bushy tail.
Hmm?
But when you turn your head, there's a that looks just like a human.
He
By the way,
narrows
everyone
his
here
eyes and you.
is shorter in stature than you. So like you're what? Five something, five something towards six.
Uh, yeah, Ishi. So most kitsune are like on the like higher 4 foot, lower 5 foot sort of area,
Yeah.
and Ishi is sort of just cusping 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So most of these people are around 4.5 to 5 feet at most, and a large number of them are shorter. Like the older ones are definitely shorter. They're not the height differences are distinct. Like most humans you see are way up here, but these aren't halflings. These are humans that are that height. They're not dwarves, they're humans that are that height. And it's everywhere. You walk out of this part of the market, you go into another part of town, everyone looks around the same height as you, right? 5.5 to 6 feet tall. They're not, no issues there, but this is a much shorter population.
Okay. Um, so I do have a feat
Uh-huh.
that you may have already been rolling because it says the GM makes secret perception rolls for you.
Uh-huh.
A lifetime of experience helps you see through disguise. A lifetime of experience helps you see through disguises. When you come within 10 feet of a creature that is transformed into another form or is impersonating a specific creature, the GM rolls a secret perception roll for you to realize the creature is transformed, even if you didn't spend an action to seek against that creature.
Yep, and you just succeeded for the first time.
Okay. All right. So you have been rolling it. Good.
I
Good, good,
have
good.
been. Yeah, it's been a little like I went through and noted how often you should roll for this particular situation, that kind of thing, and rolled
Yeah.
ahead of time and said, okay, so about here is where, how far in where you will finally realize what's going on. Um,
Yeah. I
the person you saw when you looked and you saw the human, and then it's a kitsune, but not from your lineage. They're not of your heritage. They are fennec
hmm.
kitsune. They're fennec foxes rather than red foxes or Arctic foxes. And so they're the desert, and I don't remember if that's in the core book or not for any of them. But that is what you have found. You have found a colony of fennec.
Is it Earthly Wilds Kitsune? Question mark?
It might be.
Okay.
There's a couple different. There's some homebrew ones out there that are just very specifically fennec, rather
Okay.
than like So there's a few different ways you could do it, but yeah, we're just going to call them fennec. They are fennec, your cousins in a way.
Yeah.
You're obviously a kitsune. You're almost never in human form,
That's because Darkfield's Kitsune do not have a human form.
right? That's a huge thing.
Yeah,
So yeah, so this is a group of kitsune who are hiding who they are.
but that's
It's not
somewhat
uncommon.
normal. Yeah.
It's
maybe
just
in
how
this large,
kitsune are. They're really weird in that
yeah,
regard.
maybe in this large of a group, it's a little bit uncommon, especially if
Mhm.
everybody is. But I don't. It's enough to make him kind of go, huh? Well, that's a little weird. But I don't think he's going to question it.
Okay. Okay. Roll a perception check.
Okay, cool. Once again, 27.
You hear a music starting up and some yipping, and it sounds like a party is happening just like a block over.
Oh, that's parties are a good way to waste time.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna go get some water.
Sure.
And albuterol.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, I've needed mine more frequently since having COVID for like the second or third time. Oh, that was horrible.
I don't like this one.
I remember when it was Proventhal was the brand name for all the albuterol inhalers, and like I'm like, and then like I didn't need one for many years, and then I was going to be up hiking in the mountains, and it's kind of like I should have one because I'm going to be hiking in the mountains. And so I go to the doc. I'm like, I got asthma, and years ago you prescribed me a Proventhal inhaler. Can I get that? And the doc goes, oh sure, we'll send you that prescription over. It's an albuterol inhaler, and I'm like, what the heck? Exact same steroid, different name.
This is just the only one I've ever had because I've had albuterol my whole life.
Yeah.
Um, this is the only one that tastes. And I don't know why. It could be the fact that it is 2 years expired.
That's probable. That is probable. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I just looked at it and it's June 2022.
yeah, you should definitely get your doc to give you a new one.
If I had a doctor,
That's another problem in this country right there.
well, it's both a problem in the country in general and also my job because I work 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
work the exact same hours the doctors do.
I do. I like doing, like you do like one in-person appointment, right? Get the doc, and then you start doing video appointments because we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's great because then I don't have to go in most of the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, should be good. All right, so rolling back in. So you've heard the party and you've seen the party. What are you going to do?
Well, obviously we're gonna go party.
Awesome. You go you follow the sounds, and you pass right there. There's like a huge curtain like blocking this section. Like the marketplace seems to be like segmented off of the rest of the neighborhood, kind of thing. And you just walk through this curtain, and there's a huge bonfire going on the other side, and there are dozens of young kitsune, young fennec dancing. There is instruments being played, and it's um, just gorgeous sounds coming out of it. Um, and some of the kids, some of the youth are wearing hijabs, some are not. It depending on their particular faith tradition, within the community, right? But they're all just having fun, sitting, talking, chatting with each other, doing whatever they want in this big giant community space. It's a huge community like courtyard area, and you can see like more people coming in. There's people bringing like kebab skewers and people bringing in like slices of what looks like lamb and or goat, that's ready to be put together, and others are wheeling in flatbreads to wrap things up, and it's a party. And then you hear a soft chuckle behind you. Welcome. Come sit, cousin.
Oh, yeah, thank you, yes.
You
What's
realize that it's the same person you bought stuff from, but she's no longer wearing her disguise.
is lovely to see you.
Yes, wonderful that you stayed long enough to find us.
Yeah, what's the occasion? I'm not from
It's the
around
end of the
here.
week. That is
Celebrate
it.
like this every week?
Almost every week. Some days aren't fun. Some days just don't happen, but almost every week. We have leftovers from the market and food that we made 3 4 days ago that needs to be used up before it goes bad, and we just bring it and share. Everyone gets something, from the poorest to the richest. We all have something to give and bring. But you are a guest, you don't need to bring something. Have a seat.
No, like, l frantically looking through my inventory, God, what do I have?
But you are a guest, you are a guest. Rules of hospitality say you do not need to bring.
I thank you, yeah, and, Ishi will do as directed and just, sit and sort of watch and take it in. um, it's because much like a family gathering
Mhm.
that only happens, once or twice a year
Yeah.
in for us in real life, where you're like whole families get together and it's a bunch of cousins and it's people that but you like you've seen but you don't know,
Right.
you
You
know.
know who they are, but you don't know them because you don't spend all that much time with them.
Yeah. And he's just gonna take it in and learn and just see. s- the sentence is gonna sound very strange. He's going to see what the correct way to party is.
And he does. And this goes on for hours into the night. You are scooped up by the boys, the girls, the people whose genders you never got a chance to catch and danced with. And you are taught the local dances, and you spend hours chatting with the granny, and she brings over food and explains it and tells you what you're eating, and it's a tray, and this is like a 18-inch tray. It's like a 3 foot long tray that has like lots of different meats and kebabs, and there's flatbreads, and there's a fluffy loaf of bread. It's a little stale, probably a day old, maybe 2 days old at most. But there's a hearty sauce, and you can just dip it in this sauce, and she explains what everything is and tells you all about it. Um, and says, this this is who we are. And so you're learning, you're going to gain trained in lore, uh, Fennec because of this.
Okay.
Just it's a gift. Everybody gets something out of these. Most people only get, random info, but you're gonna get this out of it. Um, and you wind up being she doesn't let you leave, and she wraps you in a blanket as you fall asleep by the fire, and the next morning she's there when you wake up feeding you breakfast, talking to you, telling you what's going on in life as a in the Fennec world. And um they're refugees, their whole community, every one of them. Their kingdom was destroyed, their home was wrecked. um and she was a little girl when it happened, and they had to leave, and they brought their culture and everything with them. And she explains why it is so important for others, their cousins abroad, to know everything. And so she gives you um, all of this love and kindness and sharing, as she also tells you who the Fennec people are. And by the time you get out of there from her, because she brings you to her house for lunch, she just drags you around
Oh
for
my
a day and
god.
a half. And finally you're like, but I have to go pick up my clothes. And she walks you there. And she sits and stays with her niece, um, as you pick up your clothes and you head out. She says, wait, one last thing. I have to go up in my store. One last thing. Come with me. Come with
Oh,
me.
oh, okay, okay.
And she brings you along. Um, and she gives you two things. One is um, religious symbol. She says, we're the only ones left who pray to our God. But maybe you could help us pray to our God for a return home, for the invaders to be kicked out. And then she gives you a cloak. It's a little small, but somehow when she hands it to you, it's a little small, but of course it's definitely a magic cloak, and it grows and it fits you. And it is of a beautiful white and black print that you've never seen before. And it's amongst one of the most amazing pieces of like fabric you've ever touched. Like, it puts all of the stuff she had for sale to shame. It is so marvelously made. And she says, this is our family. This is the Fennec, our family Fennec cloak. And this is gift to you from all of us here. You take it. It you are you are a fighter. You are not around sneaking or hiding much, and that is that is different than what we go through. But this will help you. This will help you.
I
And
thank you. You've done so much for me in so little time. And he sort of holds the religious symbol in his hand and looks over it, rubs a thumb across the surface. I am not particularly um a believer, but if my path takes me, if I am so guided in a way, I will help you take your home back.
oh, thank you, child. She gives you a big grandmother hug.
Yeah, one arm kind of down. Just
She just wrapped herself around you. Thank you, child. Thank you. And you have safe journey. You bring back knowledge and safety to your people from us, and maybe they can help bring us safety and knowledge in return. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I have to open shop now, so you have good trip. I will miss you. You are wonderful. Oh, Ishi, you are amazing person, Ishi. Thank you.
Oh, thank
She starts unrolling the, like popping open the stand and sticking up the poles and stuff. And
thank and all of you are as well. And I'll be back.
I look forward to that. Goodbye. She drags out her stool and sits down.
Yeah. Goodbye. And he heads back out the way he came, uh
Yep.
mostly.
Yeah.
It's been a couple days and he was just kind of wandering, so
You can kind of see it where like the stalls that are in of this style end and you roll back into the rest of the city. It's just a little ways, maybe 5, 6 stalls away, basically.
and Ishi returns to his group with all kinds of new finery. He is definitely already wearing it. The the old jerkin and the torn up faded sash are like shoved into the bottom of his pack.
Yeah, yeah. And the that night you dream of a of a fennec in the desert. Um, and that fennec says, "Welcome home, child." And that then you guys this takes place obviously well you guys are in the city before you head off to Absalom, and so that this will be released after the next episode, but um you guys are here, you've done some stuff for a few days, and now you're sailing to Absalom for for the final chapter of the game.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's that. You have yeah, you've gained a cloak. The cloak gives you +2 to stealth checks.
Okay. Cool. So I have like a day cloak and a night cloak now.
It's basically just the cloak. One cloak gives you two it's got that white and black pattern on it, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to hide in a well lit area, it would shift it to a more light style. If you hide in a dark area, the darker colors take over.
No, what I mean is I already bought a cloak of feline rest last
Oh,
time we were at shops,
oh, that's right, you did.
which is the cloak that lets me sleep good.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's a completely different. This is you have a
Yeah.
cloak for sleeping, and you have a cloak for
For
fight
awaking.
for wake times. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just +2 to stealth with that cloak. It's
Okay.
yeah. All right, and then we're gonna do a quick because I get to edit everything.
Yeah.
All right, and before we go today, here is the end of the episode. I just want to bring up that we here at All on the Table are also the home of Transistor Games, and you can find our first product, the Pride Slimes Mutual Aid Monsters Volume 1, available for you to purchase. It is a collection of 7 new monsters for Pathfinder 2 or 5e. You get to pick, in which the Pride Slimes help each other through the new mutual aid ability. It hasn't been, I haven't seen it ever before, so it's something that we created for this particular set of creatures. The next set, we will be running a game in October, on the first weekend of October, in which you'll get to see us fighting the Prydra. The Prydra, and then in December we'll release the next set, which is Mutual Aid Monsters Volume 2, Hydra. So that particular pride of hydras, or yeah, I think that would be the since they're normally solitary, it's kind of strange to see them together, but a pride of hydras, specially made for the Mutual Aid Monsters Volume 2, will be available to you, and that will be released fully in December. But if you come and watch us during that mutual aid stream in October, you get a chance for any donation amount to get just the Prydra. You won't get access to all of the hydras in that book, but the Prydra will be available to you during that mutual aid stream in October for any donation amount that you make. So come join us, have a wonderful time. We're going to be doing a great event, and during that mutual aid stream that will be happening, and we would love to see you there. Bye bye, everybody.
Goodbye.